Hey there viewers, and welcome back to Planet Cryos. Are you wondering how to install your RAM modules? Stick around. Alright, so in this video I just want to demonstrate and show you how to install RAM properly. And the computer behind me is obviously my build. If you've seen any of my other videos, this is my current system that I do all my video editing and web surfing and YouTube and email and everything on this. So currently I have 32 gigs of RAM in it. I don't need any more because I only use about 30 to 35% of my current RAM capacity. So realistically, I only use about 11 or 12%, or 11 or 12 gigabytes, excuse me, of the RAM that I have in there. You can see that it is RGB right there. It's pretty, and that's the only reason why I'm adding two more sticks of the same Corsair DDR4, two sticks of 16 gigabytes each. They're 3200 megahertz each. We are not going to be turning XMP on, which is a whole nother video, but this is the Vengeance RGB Pro, so I like the RGB, at least for the RAM portion of it, so it kind of looks nice. And I figured I would just get a couple more sticks, just for future proofing. Not that I really need it anytime soon. 32 is way overkill for what I have even now. 16 gigabytes would actually work perfectly fine. But we're going to go ahead and put this in, and I'm going to show you how. We're going to get a close-up. First thing what you need to do is power off your computer and pull, turn off your power supply and pull the power cable off of the back of the PC. I'm not going to show that, but that is what the step you need to do right now. Other than that, we're going to go to a close-up right now. I have two empty slots here. And on some motherboards, you'll have the upper clasp and the lower clasp here. Well, it's the upper one on this particular board are the ones that open and close. So you have to open and close these to release. And when you push the memory module in, it will clasp itself. So it'll latch itself, and you should hear the audible click. The lower one does not, because they're figuring you can't get your fingers down here to actually release it with either a thicker memory card or a graphics card, excuse me. So what they do is just for the tops. So this one's going to be a little difficult to get in. This one's pretty easy. So what you have on RAM is excuse me. You have a slit in it. There's a notch that's cut out right here. And the motherboard has the same thing. So the motherboard has a notch built into it too. So this can only go in one way because the total length from here to here is different than the total length from here to here. So on this one, we're going to go ahead and flip this one around. And it should line up. You can kind of guesstimate. Plus, you can go by the other ones that are already in there if you already have them installed. But in a new install, if you're just putting RAM in for the first time, obviously you're going to have to just take a look at that and make sure it goes in. They do that so you cannot put it in the wrong direction. So what we're going to do is put the bottom in first just a little bit, then the top. Usually you want to do this with a PC laying down, but I've done this multiple times, so I'm comfortable doing this. It's always good to work on like the motherboard or any of these components so they don't, when you pull them out, they don't just drop straight down onto whatever you have below it. So you get it seated so it's close, right? And right now it's just kind of resting in there. I can even let go of it. It's not going to do anything, but it's not seated, and you'll hear it. So if I'm quiet, you'll be able to hear it, and push on either the top or the bottom first. I'll go for the bottom first, and then the latch, you won't be able to see the latch, but the latch up on top will come down and secure it. So go ahead and just keep pressure on the top while pushing on the bottom. Whichever one you do first, just keep pressure on the opposite side and just push down. You hear that? And there's the second one. So the bottom went in first and then the top. We're going to go ahead and repeat that process. Make sure you got to go in the right direction. This one's a little more difficult because it's right by the heatsink fan. And depending on what kind of heatsink you have, if you have just a stock heatsink cooler, this is actually pretty easy. Just trying to figure out where this slot is here. There we go. There's the bottom, and there's the top. And there we go. It's just a little finesse. You know, sometimes you just got to wiggle it around a little bit, but you should not have to force it to get it to slide in just before. There's force when you... Okay, so in other words, there's no force. You shouldn't have to force it to get it to slide in 90% of the way. But the rest of the 10%, you're going to have to put a little force on it to make it click. So we go to the bottom first, then the top. And that's done. Now we have it all installed. And the first boot, it's going to have to train the new memory. And so it might just take a little bit longer, but that's perfectly fine. And we'll see what it looks like. So at this point, go ahead and plug your computer back in, turn your power supply on if there's a power switch, and go ahead and power your computer up and make sure everything's working fine. Okay, so here's our first power up, installing the new RAM. Alright, so my computer booted up pretty quick. It only took maybe a few extra seconds. Nothing really that was noticeable. Just had to recognize that new memory modules that we put in, but nothing crazy. And let's go ahead and check out our RAM, or our computer, to make sure all the RAM got installed. Okay, so what you got to do is come down here to the bottom left-hand corner and go ahead and click on the Start menu. Then go ahead and click on the Settings. And up here where it says System, go ahead and click on that. And now we're going to come down here to where it says About. And right here, up here, we can tell what kind of CPU you have, how much RAM, which we have now 64 gigabytes of RAM. And that is how you're going to confirm how much RAM you have. Other than using a third-party software, this is how you can tell straight from the Windows screen. Alright guys, and that's all I have for you today. I want to thank you for watching, and don't forget to click that like button, share the content please, and subscribe if you wish to see more content. Hit that the bell icon to get notified, and go ahead and leave a comment down below, and until next time, we'll see you then.